This is just for everybody that's going to be watching this video. We're just talking about who's feeling what part of what cleanse, and we're all going through something. And hopefully by the end of this, you're going to see, we're going to give you lots of examples. So I've made a lot of notes on people, and for the ones that said I can share, I will be sharing, showing you the magic that every single thing is in your chart. All right, and it becomes really easy. So for today, we're going to be going over the sections in the book. It is your world, understanding karma, 42 spiritual laws of Isis, the Denderah Zodiac, the source of the misinterpreted Bible, introduction to astrology and the lost settings, and if we have time, check sheet to prove to yourself. So it's your world and understanding karma. Okay. So there's a phoenix rising every 558 years that we talked about in the last meeting. But what does that have to do with me, right? First off, let's get one thing straight. We say this over and over again, and we'll continue. You are infinite and you are loved, but there always has to be a but. Your recent spiritually tethered experience that brought you through the age of Pisces, which is the age with the least amount of love and the least amount of wisdom. So during the 2,232 years, 4 times 558, since the fall of the enlightened age of Aries into Pisces, we've accumulated some karma. But know that the age of Aquarius, the water bearer, John the Baptist, is about the forgiving of sins, aka karmic attachments. And that's the 7 scorpions of Isis, or the 7 plagues in Revelations. So all it is just vibrating you to purity. And while those vibrations come out, they don't feel good. But know that they're waves and they just pass. So look, everything you do is a vibration that you leave behind. Not different than a child making waves in a kiddie pool. So that's why I shared this. There's this guy in a float, and looks really funny. He just bounces up and down and watch those waves hit the side, and they come back and hit him. If you picture this as a field, if you picture that as the Antarctic ice ring, all those waves keep coming back. That's why water has, every atom has memory, remembers. So it's a perfect system designed to make us have the experience, but always go back to one love. We have no choice. This is a good time to state that you should always give out positive, good karmic vibes in all that you do. The sooner we do this, the sooner we allow this in, the better we do. And thank you, Carlos. Next, know that along with being infinite, this is your world. Everything that comes into your view, smell, taste, basically anything felt by your senses is meant for you. All spiritual laws, like the laws of attraction, laws of reflection, etc., are meant for you. If you find that something is not pleasing, it means that there is something that you have to change. This is how karma works. The more you avoid a situation, the more it will come to you and find you again. Every atom remembers your past actions. It's a perfect system. Ever know someone who keeps changing partners only to end up with someone that boasts the exact same qualities? It's not bad luck. He hasn't, she hasn't, they haven't fixed what they're supposed to learn, what their lesson was. And love is always the answer. So start now. The only way to dampen the amplitude, rather the strength of an unwanted karmic attachment, is to use love. For example, let's say you did something to someone when you were a child that was far from loving. More than likely, it will keep showing up either in person or in images to you. So this is what it's meant, an eye for an eye. But it's not meant we're supposed to be doing it to each other. It happens to you on its own. You said, well, no, somebody's got to deliver that karma. Know that spirit does make people deliver their own karma unknowingly. I'm not talking about the one knowingly, the unknowingly one. For example, on my birthday, there's the grackle. On my birthday, 3 times, nobody wanted to come with me to go get the food. Something just happened, and it was like Twilight Zone. And all of a sudden, I realized that I was swerving into the other lane to a head-on car. What happened to me? Where did my head go? They're giving me a sign. There was a bump there, but luckily I've changed my ways and I avoided the bump. All near misses means you're on the right path. And the more and more that you get near misses, or the more and more they go away, then you know you're on the better path. So these images that come back are things that you've done in the past. Replay the original non-loving event in your mind the way it should have happened. That's the only way to forgive sins, to forgive karma, is to replay it. In other words, replay the whole event where everyone hugged and walked away happy. If you can allow that portion in to do that, your life is going to change. And I'm speaking from experience. So again, this is your world. Everybody is in each other's world intentionally, so we can all grow together. So everybody that you meet, and we're going to talk about the houses today, is meant for you to learn from. So like a read-write hard drive cassette tape, you can erase and replay and rewrite your world. Every moment is a new now. You don't have to relive the images of the past. You can rewrite them. Totally allowed. That's not to say you can knowingly now go do something that you shouldn't and then replay it, because it doesn't work that way. Because that's not loving. I want to just jump in so we can start giving little teasers of your chart. This is Roy, the lightning man, they call him. He got struck by lightning 7 times. So I found his birth date, not his time. Wish I could have found his time, and wish I would have known when he got the lightning strikes. That would have been really cool. But he had Ceres, the harvester, the one that sits on the descendant, the one that sits in the west, the one that sits before you come to the as below, harvester, Ceres, aligned with Neptune. People that don't do well emotionally and that want to do things that aren't right to themselves, Ceres is involved. So Ceres aligned with Neptune. Neptune is 100% lightning bolts, okay? People say Jupiter is, not true. It's Neptune. And Neptune is home in Aquarius. So, and boy, Kathy, she really got a cleanse from Neptune across her Hygeia, which is the caduceus glyph, right? The medical caduceus. So he had a complete alignment of Ceres and Neptune, and he was getting struck by lightning. So you can do this when you start learning astrology. You can just go pick these anomalies here, go look at their chart, and see what you see. That's how you learn. I've done that with shingles. I've done that with all sorts of different things. Okay, so we just went through understanding karma. Does anybody have any questions? Benjamin?
I was just on there. I just wanted to understand why Pisces is the least amount of love and least amount of wisdom.
Okay, so
the age we left, we're leaving.
If you look at the Denderah Zodiac, let's see if I can find one here.
And on that, how much love and wisdom are the age of Aquarius that we're going into? Is that like compared?
Right. Okay. So Pisces, you can see, has 2 fish. One that's leaning more towards going towards the point in the middle, the north, like you stated, and the one that's pointing towards the outside. But you can still, it still has a slight angle, like it's playing on a record player, taking a long way home, like Supertramp said. So like we're just 2 lost souls swimming in a fish bowl.
Oh, yeah.
When you fall from Aries consciousness down to the feet, Pisces, you're the least amount enlightened.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Okay, so that's the main reason. And you can see that the Phoenix rising, where you have the 3rd eye coming in, where you're granted revelation, enlightenment, that happens at the 0 point Aries. You proceed this way in the chart going counterclockwise, but the ages go clockwise. I've
Can I-
disregarded.
can I-
Yeah, one sec, Lex, and I'll chin. I've disregarded most consensus because I want to think for ourselves and start from scratch and learn what the Egyptians are telling us and deciphering their images without having the past trying to take over my thoughts. And when you study Ken Wheeler and you see how things form, then you start understanding that this must be the way it is. Because the Egyptians were very, very enlightened. And it's a cycle. And we'll show you when we get into the misinterpretations of the Bible, there's something really interesting and cool there. That all starts to, the puzzle starts piecing together. Lex?
Yeah, I wanted to add to the two Pisces, which I thought very helpful. But of course, also the Pisces, the feet will miss the mother the most, because they're where it gets food from the mother. So and because they have a wide vision, an angle, two visions, bringing that together, and the mantra of the feet is "I believe." And I 2 weeks ago I made that believe on a tree, but it can also be brought down to Bel Eve, the ding and the dong, the Liberty Bell depicts with the broken bell, which is also a kind of a symbol for half the hourglass.
Yeah, that's
But the age of
important.
Aquarius is I know versus I believe.
Yeah, and I believe is very, very benevolent when it's fed and becomes no, because it also constructs that you do not become a robot of mother, right? You take in what she says, you believe her, and you create your own knowing of it.
Exactly.
Any other questions? And I'm sorry, I'm going to push to move along because I just want to try to keep timing. I'm okay to keep going if we need to, but I just want to respect everybody. And we can also hang out after if we want to do some. Sorry, go ahead. Charlotte?
Hi. It's about when you were talking about the Egyptian part, and that, when you've done Reiki healing, I've done a few sessions, but I've done spiritual healing and the karuna, etc., etc. And every time I was having the symbols and the initiations done, obviously I'm relaxed, my eyes are closed, I'm always in the pyramids, to the point where I can see the hieroglyphs on the wall and the little paraffin candles, and I'm always surrounded by children as well.
Wow.
I'm always surrounded by children.
Well, we're going to have we'll have to try to do something where we can try to go back in time and have somebody explain, Lucy, to us what some of those glyphs mean. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because I just thought it was because the temples or the pyramids, I feel, were healing chambers. So that just made sense. That clarified that to me. They weren't just tombs, they were for healing.
Right. A lot of churches and structures were for vibrations and healing, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I just thought I'd share that.
Thanks for sharing. Thank you. Love it. We're now moving along to the 42 spiritual laws of Isis. For your reference, this right here is a copy of the 42 spiritual laws of Isis. It's in the book. The exact location of where these come from is unknown at the time of this edition. There are people that say they came from here, there, and everywhere, but until we have the exact proof, we don't know. But at the same time, if you stay true to these affirmations, you will indeed reduce the unwanted karmic attachments and strengthen your wisdom and connect with spirit in ways you have never dreamt possible. Seems really simple, but it is. Because if you look at these and if you follow these and allow these in for everything that happens in your life, it's a guide for you. It's a beautiful guide. And it's done with positive intentions, not the non-positive words, right? I'll just read a couple. I'm going to randomly pick some. I live in truth. I honor animals with reverence. I give blessings. I'm accepting. I keep my own counsel. I hold purity and high esteem. I embrace the all. I follow my inner guidance. I create harmony. I communicate with compassion. Especially if you go outside and say some of these when there is an alignment overhead, especially if it's the mother of all mothers at the midheaven, and you go state these, watch the signs that start showing up. We are in a field, and we are electric, and we are able to communicate that way. So I stuck this in because I wanted to show you what I did. You don't have to use this, but if you wanted to do something personally yourself. I had an epiphany while I was on an IV for the arsenic poisoning that I had. It came to me that all the 10 commandments were written in non-positive terms. So when you state the 10 commandments, you're stating not good intentions and you're imagining things that aren't good. You're vibrating the ether. You're vibrating your memories with something not good. So I rewrote the 10 commandments and then put them in a form of a prayer, an intention, whatever you want to call it. So we have completed images that go along with this prayer, positive images that I try to look at every day. If I'm not able to, I at least say the prayer. So in stating intentions with images, a very powerful tool. As you know, Michael Jordan, when he takes the shot, before he takes the shot, when he wants to make that basket, he visualizes the ball leaving his hand, the ball floating through the air, swishing through the net, hitting the ground. Here's the sound. Here's the crowd cheers before he takes the shot. Our whole life works that way. But right now, it should be of images that are only pure and loving. So if you use it with loving images, watch your world change. I'm just going to read this. Our God, universal force. I left God in there. But our own internal spirit, our own self, our refuge in love. Grant unto us every day balance, harmony, peace, tranquility, and one love. We honor our foremothers and forefathers, Egypt or Gypt, and ask them for guidance. In your spirit, we will always provide abundance for all. Treasure all life as if it were our own. Be faithful to our promises, respect and love our family, neighbors, and friends, and guide them to this prayer. I just want to point out to you the words that are in the 10 commandments. I won't even say them. Treasure all life as if it were our own. The one they do is thou shalt not, and I'm not even going to say that K 4-letter word. Why would you put that image in anybody's head? It's not right. I'm just going to show you really quickly what images that I look at while I'm saying this intentions. They're just really nice images. So if you put these images in your mind daily, not these ones, anyone you want, you are creating your world. You're creating how you want to manifest and how you want your world to be, and everybody around you starts vibing this way because that's who you want. Law of attraction. Tranquility. One love. Abundance. Treasure all life as if it were your own. Faithful to our promises, to ourself, to our refuge. Respect and love. And then I threw this in there. Images are your oars. That's why they have the boat of Ra there. Still has the Ankh. Still in the mummified position. In other words, you're still here learning. So the images is what steers you. That's what guides you. Any questions?
Just like to ask if we can have a copy of the prayer, please.
Absolutely. For
Thank
sure.
you.
That whole thing is on. It's 1 minute and 11 seconds long. It's on YouTube. The prayer with the pictures. but I can give you a copy.
okay,
I'll give you a copy.
okay.
I'll give you a copy of that as well. Okay. The Denderah Zodiac, the source of the misinterpreted Bible. To the right is 3 pages showing the history of Bible translations. All of them are the mistranslations except for the highlighted one. The highlighted one is 2000 BC, the life of Christ. I left Christ in there. That's the life of Horus, the life of Arahant, the life of Brahman, the life of going towards refuge of love. Scriptures in concrete. So this is the life of Horus, the scriptures in concrete, Hathor Temple, Dendra, Egypt. So you can see all these different translations going all the way back. There was a whole whack of them after the last Phoenix rising. What does it mean? There's so much disagreement. So many people still looking for the truth that they went revision, 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 revision. Now you'll start to see that I listed the Phoenix last 4, 5, 6 Phoenix risings, the year of them. Okay. And you can see 1465, look at it was a 1455 one. Now look at how many their translations there were in between. 907 AD, right in there. 349 AD, right in there. 210 BC, right in there. And then here we go, 768 BC. And then 1326 BC, the first written word of God, the 10 Commandments. Which you had tablets, but those tablets mean somebody picked something up from the Egyptians as a form of tablets and called it Moses, called it whatever. Whether there was a guy named Moses back there or not, I don't know. So you can see how the major translations in the Bibles aligned with the Phoenix risings. It's important because we have to rewrite it again. So there's going to be scholars that have to rewrite what the zodiac means and what it does. So the watermark image you see below is the text of your wheel of life. That's the Denderah Zodiac, better known as the life of Horus, which has been interpreted as ours. And it's your time, your journey around the zodiac of spiritual experiences coupled with a manifested karmic human experience. Getting off the wheel is simple. Riding the wheel is quite the lesson. Know that we are just finishing the age of Pisces, which had the most human, materialistic attachments. We are now being reeled in. Any questions on that? All right, we'll move forward. Introduction to astrology in the lost settings. We talked a little bit about that last one, thanks to Martin and his questions. The astrology, astrologos, astrotheology, astrophilosophy, as above, so below. This is the only reason one should come to know astrology, to become Arahant, to become one with love. What one can learn is the magic about 100% loving proof of as above, so below, or rather, as within, so without. Astrology is not just about getting an app, looking at your sun, moon, and rising sign. It's a personal guidance system. I keep doing people's charts and say, well, you didn't tell me anything about me. I said, I don't know what amplitudes your karmic attachments are. Only you will know. You have a free personal astrologer. Anytime you want to see or know something about why things are happening, reach out. We can walk through. So most people don't walk through it anymore. They just get that and they just look at it and they just don't do anything with it. That's why I do it for free, so they can reach out anytime. But trust me, everything is in there. It's 100% there. You can just look to the sky and you can just look at your surrounding, and that's all the guidance you would ever need. You don't need to have astrology. Everything you receive upon your senses is meant for you. You are the animator, anima equals soul, of your life and journey around the zodiac. Every insect, animal, reptile, bird, human, raindrop, etc. is your guide. This should become very apparent to you if you haven't already. No one is exempt from being induced to one love, the love of the mother of all mothers. And that's the fall of Babylon we're upon. No one is exempt. And you can see people reaching out all over the world. My wife follows them, and they're all cleansing. And they're good people. Everybody cleanses. That being said, where does studying the stars come in? Every sign you experience is designed by you to bring you back to the magic of one love. We will now show you how this is done. The setting, the community in the sky. This is where we're going to get you to grasp astrology in a much simple way, as it is truth. Your being is made up of the 12 houses of your own spiritual neighborhood. It takes a community to raise a child. Everyone in your current physical neighborhood, currently that you live in the concrete jungle, vibes you during your life, right? For example, if you go over to Aunt Taurus's house, she's like a bull, man. We all know people like that, right? Well, that's why. She has a strong Taurus. So you can bet when you get that feeling from her, or you get a lesson from her, or you get anything from her, even a karmic response to you, there is going to be something aligned with your chart and her chart. That's the way it works. If she's a bull, very connected to the earth, an earthen mother, has kids with Mr. Scorpio across the street. Scorpio's across from Taurus, right? So when you go to a neighbor's house, a physical neighbor's house, you feel that vibe, you feel that connection. You know which one you want to go to, you know which one you don't want to go to, because somebody's always giving you a lesson. If you go to Uncle John Aquarius's house, he's always trying to cleanse you, to clean up your act. So when you look at the zodiac, these go around you every day, every 24 hours. The only difference is the sun moves amongst them, so you can see some of the stars, some of the houses, and you can't during other times. So they have different effects, whether they're during the day or during the night. And that plays a factor. And we're going to remove a lot of the complications, settings, and the confusing part of astrology. I mean, it's not easy to grasp at first, but then you'll see how easy it is. Just picture all these houses, and then these luminaries are going to be the ones that come visit, for example, in that house. Because if you're over at Aunt Taurus's house and all of a sudden her brother comes over, he's a real loose cannon or whatever. That's what the planets do, because they're in that house and how they affect you. So note that there are 36 other houses, or constellations, we'll call them. That's what they call them. Because there's 12 zodiac constellations, and then there's other 36 constellations, which gives you a total of 48. Don't go by the modern constellations. That's just like the Bible translations. They've mistranslated them, and they'll lead you to nowhere. Ptolemy has them all covered, and rightfully so. They make a ton of sense. Claudius Ptolemy. And these will be the images that we'll be using of the 12 signs. See in the green? That's all you have to put to memory. And then you can make sentences out of these vibrations. Just do this. It makes it really simple. Because we're going to show you how to make sentence structure on how a vibration gets put together. So Aries is your head or manifestations. Taurus is the earthen mother, the bull. Gemini are the twins, the pillars, twin pillars. Cancer is your aura, your vibration. Well, medical astrology, Cancer is your stomach and your breasts. So the stomach and the breast, you are what you eat, and the mother passes the aura and the vibration through her breast to the child. So this all works. Leo is the heart, the earth. Virgo is purity, virginity. Libra is weighing of the heart. They'll teach you that at scales, you got to be in balance. With balance of what? It's the weighing of the heart ceremony. The Egyptians will teach you better. Scorpio is procreation, manifestation. Sagittarius is spiritual law, where the river of heaven lies. Capricorn, 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on earth. When you're feeling really spiritual and you just don't want to do the materialistic stuff anymore, Capricorn teaches you that you must keep 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on earth. Aquarius is the etheric waters that cleanse you. Pisces is an end of cycle and starting all over again. So that's your spiritual neighborhood. That's it, you're done. Use these as a guide. It's just a lookup table. It's no different than going to grab a recipe book and look to see. And you, of course, you can use the images themselves. They'll help, right? So we're going to use these later on for phrases and expanded descriptions. You remember this image. It's important that you make the connection with the clock of life. So for now, just orientate yourself with this view. For now, just remember sunrise in the east, sunset in the west. And then we're going to show you a little bit later. I'm going to animate off of my iPad from Time Nomad, the direction that everything starts to move. So you start looking how to read the clock. Because there's a clockwise motion and there's a counterclockwise motion. But overall, everything moves clockwise. But the resistance is the planets moving against the stars. So we'll show you that. One more thing about houses. They are the exact same description as the zodiac. Like Marian said, Aquarius is to know. Same thing as the house. Because that's when revelation comes in. We're entering into the age of Aquarius. So for now, don't pick, well, money is this, and this is that, and make something different and more complicated. When you look at an astrology chart, you're going to see two rings. You're going to see a gray one and a colored one. Every software does it differently, but the house system and then the zodiac. What we're showing you and telling you is you must keep the houses in your settings so that house 1, which is the exact same quality as Aries, stays fixed at the Phoenix rising position. So house 1 is Aries. I'm still looking at just the gray ring, okay? And this ring is just like the rings of the clock that you look at on your watch. You don't move them. It stays. House 2, Taurus. House 3, Gemini, etc., etc. In the outside ring, we see Aquarius, Capricorn. You notice that it's offset. Well, yeah, because everybody where they're born, the stars have moved. They've rotated because they rotate every day. Okay, let's take a quick break here. Everything in your life is about understanding the Phoenix rising. Everything stems to the 558-year Phoenix rising. So this point is very important. It's your ascendant. That's when people say, what's my ascending sign? You have to know what time you were born. If you don't remember the Phoenix rising portion, but I think you do, that's all. You can always go back and relook at it. The house system is more for past life regression. Things that are original, like the lands. The house systems mark the land and the shape of the lands. Reading your Akashic record. And in medical astrology, we'll go over it in that, again, in that section. It yields longer, deeper karmic, good and not good. So the outer ring is the infinite moving fixed stars. There's fixed stars and there's wandering stars. Don't let NASA and all those things confuse you. They're all lights. They're all luminaries. The fixed stars are fixed, means they don't move amongst themselves. And the wandering stars are the sun, the moon, Venus, Mercury, Neptune, all of them. The ones you can see and with the naked eye and the ones you can't see. Those are called the wandering stars because they move amongst the stars. So we'll just show you the wandering stars. These are the glyphs, right? Jupiter, Juno, the black moon, which is a node, Venus, Lilith. So you'll come to know all these glyphs. So those ride along. So just for, I'm going to grab this arrow. So the stars move clockwise. So the zodiac, The houses stay fixed, and these move counterclockwise amongst the stars, but it happens so slowly you don't see it. The moon is the best one to see, because if you see the moon next to a star, the next night you're going to see it's way towards the east. And then they start saying the moon is doing some funny things. It was way over there, now it's over here, north and south. Well, yeah, it moves also north and south, just like the sun does. The sun moves between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. The moon goes even further north and south than the sun does. So as you're starting to look up in the sky and see that, you will notice these things, and they all make sense. When you can go and look at your app, and you can see that that is totally normal. And again, just for this image that I threw back in the other movie, the first house is at 0 point Aries and locked in. These are your houses, your more solidified houses, your heritage, your lineage, your bloodlines, the lands. That's what the houses mark. So remember, there's so much confusion learning astrology because of the missing knowledge of the Phoenix rising. Everything points towards the Phoenix rising. Everything points for us to be able to go through the ages. The Phoenix rising and the immovable clock, aka Mama's clock, which we're going to introduce in another class. You don't have to know and understand all this, but this is for the proof of people who are familiar with astrology and need the proof to show that this works. So I'm going to share now my screen. Okay, I'm going to pull up Roy. So I'm using the Time Nomad app. So I'm going to start cycling just 1 minute at a time. And you can see how it's rotating, right? So just stare at this section over here where the ascendant is, the Phoenix rising position, the east, where everything rises in the east. And you can just see how everything, even the planets or the wandering stars on the outer ring are all moving, right? So everything's seemingly going clockwise, but know that the planets are all moving in the opposite direction. Of course, except for the retrograde ones, but we'll get to that later because I just want to keep it simple. So I'm just moving it 1 minute at a time, and you see how everything is moving. Except for the VIX houses, right? The houses aren't moving, right? No, they're not moving. So that's the motion in the sky. When you look south, you'll see things rising in the east to your left and setting to the west. If you now go over to the other side, let's look at the descendant now. So look at the moon. You see the moon coming, that white, this white little half moon thing right there. I'm going to see if I can zoom in here. Okay, so keep your eye on the moon. If you use this, you could be able to watch. That's when the moon's about to set in the horizon. So you can use your astrology app to watch things rise and set. Oh, look at there. There's the moon, and the moon is close to on the descendant. And there Sarah is in her home position in the west on the Denderah Zodiac. Because that side there is more than just setting for the day. It's setting for the life. It's setting for the season. It's harvest time, right? Because that's the position where, when the sun's over in this position in Libra Virgo, that would mean harvest because it's this autumn equinox. Okay, so now I'm going to put it in worldview. And what does is going to hold the zodiac stationary, and now you get to watch the planets move. Now, I've talked to the guy from Time Gnome, and I said, why did you make this worldview with Aries down here? Why couldn't you make it right over here to the side? See how nobody thinks about Phoenix rising? Nobody. So we haven't learned yet. We still have to grow. It's all right. It's meant to be. So now is the time. So the houses will be still. I'm going to move this up a bit more. I'm going to go by a day at a time. So now you're going to see, as I move a day at a time, you can see how all the planets are moving. Look at the moon. The moon's the fastest moving. Okay, see the moon over here? So watch. The moon spends 2.5 days per sign, roughly. This is why the moon gives you signs, initial signs that something is about to occur. So that's the first thing you should look for. The moon is very apparent in fevers. So I'm just going to keep going. So you can see how everything is transiting, going round and round. It's moving amongst the stars. But don't forget, the stars are always moving in the clockwise direction. So you don't get to see the apparent motion of everything. Now, let's look at Icarus up here. Do you see Icarus at the top up here, next to Pluto? Way up here. They have the little lines on top of them. See them? I'm going to back up a bit. Now look at Icarus. Icarus is going backwards. That's retrograde. That means he's moving the opposite direction. So they go just like a spirograph, and they flip around, turn the other way, and then go back again. You can see Icarus is moving back, keeps moving back. And he's a fast one. He's related to Mercury. He's the one that gives you your wings. And then look at there, he's going direct again. Now he's going back in his path. So during that time, somebody's going to have a hard time with their wings because he went retrograde and he's got something to learn there. So when they go retrograde, it's a learning inward experience for you. Any questions on that? I just wanted to start showing you some simple motions. We're going to keep doing more examples. We had to start with the metaphysical portion on why would you ever want to do astrology, so we're using it in the right way. And then we're going to start showing you how to use it in a good way to show the magic. Because it does become real magical when you start seeing it happen in everybody's life. I don't use it for myself unless I know I should be to learn. And you'll find that when you're getting these moments, when you're learning about yourself and it's something that you're analyzing about yourself, you'll see Chiron, the wounded healer, involved. It's pretty magical. Right now, before I go to questions, I'm going to bring up last night. Kathy woke up. Well, she woke me up in the middle of the night screaming. There was a bug, a roach in the bathroom. Crawled out, ran into the kitchen. Interestingly enough, it's like they allowed us to catch them because you can't catch a cockroach. There's no way. But I know what he's doing. He's sending us a sign. So Kathy tries to throw this cloth on him, doesn't get him. But all of a sudden he's upside down and goes like this. Here I am. Put a cup on him. I got a piece of paper, put it up, bring him outside. When I put him down, he didn't run away fast. He just walked away really slowly. Then she says, look, there's a spider there. That was the one that was in the shower with me. I had him in my hand and everything else, but I was in the shower, so I just let him crawl back on the wall. Says, but for some reason, I've just got the heebie-jeebies. I don't want to get that spider. So this morning when I looked, when that happened, the black moon was exactly aligned with the IC. Here, let me get the IC. The IC is right here at the bottom of the chart. That means the most spiritual point on the chart, other than the point in the middle, but we don't use the point in the middle. But we'll get to that with Polaris someday, because the stars do that. So the IC, which does align up with the home position of Sirius and Polaris and Canopus. The cockroach's message was, can't remember verbatim, but it was something like, sometimes to learn, we got to go into the deepest, darkest portions of the night. So here we are, woke up in the middle of the night, and he gave us that sign. It's incredible. And the black moon was aligned with the IC exactly at that time. So they're communicating more and more. And the black moon is this one right here. There's not many apps that use the proper black moon. There's confusion between the black moon and then Lilith, black moon Lilith. Time Now Mad uses them correctly. If you want to use them as a base, or if you find somewhere else, You can ask me, because if you don't have time, no matter where is Lilith right now on this certain date, because then you can do that. Yeah, go ahead, Benjamin.
Yeah, I was going to see what your understanding is why the moon and the sun, if I understand that correctly, never go retrograde.
Good point. Well, the moon goes retrograde. To me, it goes, waxes, is expanse, wanes, is inward. The sun goes retrograde. It goes from the Tropic of Cancer to the Tropic of Capricorn. So to me, those are two retrograde motions. You know what I'm saying? In a different way. So I had the exact same question as you. And right now, that's the only answer that I've given myself, that those are retrograde motions. Any other questions on the zodiac here, on the chart? Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Marian.
I'm not sure if sorry, Claudia, if I heard this
Okay,
right
no.
somewhere, and I can't remember who said it. Is there anything to do with every age that we move into, every new age? There's they start to go in the opposite direction. So let's just say if it's in this age, it's going clockwise, and then it switches. Is that a possibility in the new age? Could it? And apparently you can tell by your own body the tendency to turn in a certain way. You can feel the way everything's moving by the way you want to move.
Yeah, I've heard.
Do you know what I'm driving at?
No, I 100% know what you're saying. I have not been able
Right.
to come up with an answer for that. I'm not saying
Okay.
it's not true. We are constantly moving torus field. We go in and out every,
Right.
who knows, millisecond, however, no such thing as time, but we're constantly moving in and out.
Mhm.
So our spin direction, that is a very interesting question. The pole shift that they're all talking about is Eris, going from Pisces into Aries. There's your pole shift. Will the planets go the other way?
Right.
To me right now, I don't have the answer, but the best answer I'm giving myself is it's just a misinterpretation. Our way of thinking is a pole shift. Our way of going from materialism to love is a pole shift. A physical seeing everything turning in the other direction, I just can't see it. I can't visualize it. So I just look at Ken Wheeler's work and I see everything, because I mean, when he shows you the magnet, when you look at one end, it spins one direction, and then you go the other way and it spins the other direction. Well, if you don't flip it over, they're both going the same direction. That's what allows the magnets to come together. It's like two
Right.
virtual screws that mate together and just come in with each other.
Right.
I don't know if everything's going to start moving the other way. Everything would be like all the ships, everything would start flipping over, and yeah, I just can't see it. I just can't. I know what you're saying. I've slept many nights, close the eyelids when the heads hit the feathers, and try to figure that out. But I just haven't come to. I'm not saying it's not true. It's just I just can't imagine it.
As a dancer practicing my pirouettes, I always wanted to turn the right, and most of the people that I questioned, which way do you like to turn? Right. The majority always said turn to the right. So
right. So your internal spin is different. Right. 100%. That's I totally understand. That's like two people that repel each other. They're not spinning the same, right? Their fields are off. Yep.
There it is.
We'll move back to.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And only by going through examples will you get to start learning astrology, because you got to start looking at them. You got to, play with it, watch it spin. So I'm trying to do what I did when I first started learning astrology with you all, showing this. Some of this is basic for some people that are here, and some of it is brand new. So that's why I'm trying to make sure we cover everyone. Okay, well, we're not going to get into this. We'll save this for next time, because it's already 7:45. And we'll just leave it at that and see if there's any other questions.
I saw that the signs all had air, earth, water, and fire, but also mutable, cardinal, and fixed. What does that mean? Or is that for later?
No, it's okay. Those are all, well, you understand what the elements are: fire, air, earth, and water.
Yeah.
Those make a lot of sense to me. The fixed, mutable, cardinal, those makes some sense to me, but I don't use them a lot. But what you got to look at is their relationship to the clock and the zeros, right? One borderlines a zero on the cross. The ones in the middle, borderline 2 5s. So it's going to have to do with music. I still want to go down that and throw darts at cardinal, fixed, and mutable and see how that fits along with the circle of fifths and the 60 repeating numbers. I don't use cardinal, fixed, and mutable when I do anybody's charts. I just haven't found any benefit in it. But I don't know if I haven't done enough work with it to see benefit. So I'm not placing a judgment whether it's good or not good. But I do want to look at them in terms of where they sit with the circle of fifths, because it's going to be important for healing. A cardinal sign means it shares one of the cardinal points.
The easiest way, Claudio, to kind of envision the cardinal, fixed, and mutable is basically beginning, middle, and end. So we have, for instance, the 4 seasons, and springtime is on that vernal equinox, Aries, and Aries is a cardinal fire sign. Cardinal is the beginning of fire, and it's the first fire sign after the winter quadrant. So this is why we have winter, because there's no fire in winter whatsoever. We have cardinal earth being Capricorn, we have fixed air, which is Aquarius, and then we have mutable water, which is Pisces. That's why winter is winter. There's no fire in that quadrant whatsoever. But as soon as spring comes along and the cardinal thrusting of Aries takes over, we get the bursting of spring, the blossom, the plants erect, animals wake. And it's not until we hit the fixed earth sign that we get of Taurus that we get spring manifest in all of its glory. And Taurus the bull is one of the 4 faces of God. So in the Bible, the 4 faces of God is the bull, the lion, the eagle, which is the other side of Scorpio, and the man, which is Aquarius. They represent the fixed signs. The fixed signs are the full manifest of the season, and this is why God expresses his 4 faces in his 4 seasons. And then the mutable signs, this is a transitory sign. So mutable always follows fixed, because there is a change occurring before the next cardinal sign of the next beginning. So mutable air of Gemini ushers in the start of the summer at the summer solstice, where the cardinal water takes over to usher in the beginning of summer. So it's like beginning, middle, and end, or you can say generation, operation, dissolution. You can say there's lots of ways to kind of generation, operation, dissolution. That's kind of like like an anagram of God. So generation, operation, dissolution. It's a bit like saying beginning, middle, and end. And it's probably the best way to describe what cardinal, fixed, and mutable are and what they do. There's 4 of each. There's 4 cardinal signs. There's 4 fixed signs, and then 4 mutable signs. And in their operation, they bring that grand wheel together and create that that design that keeps repeating. So I hope that helps.
It helps. Thanks.
Yes, 100% it helps. Like I said, I did some work with it, and I understand exactly what you're saying. The four fixed Those are in the four faces. That's the royal stars, Formulat, and then Regulus, and then you got Antares and Aldebaran. The four faces, the four royal stars. I mean, it's all beautiful stuff.
Are those the four red stars? The ones that look red
No,
in the
the
sky?
one that's mostly red. I don't think they're all red. The brightest red is Antares, right? And now
Aldebaran is the
right now. Look at the word Antares. It's Ant Aries without the I. Think about that now. That's the big head is Aries and the little head is Scorpio. Procreation. Antares. Big head, little head. The little head keeps us on the clock. That's why it's red Antares. It's red shifted. It's materialistic. That's why Scorpio is stepped on by Ophiuchus, separating the Ouroboros. Stop eating your tail. So that's why it's the eye of the snake, eye of Scorpio, eye of the scorpion, right? The eye of the little head. But fixed there, like I said, it's fixed between the fives on the circle of fifths or the 60 repeating numbers, which is going to be interesting for when we start looking for healing vibrations. Because I want to make sure we prove that A432 aligns with which zodiac sign, because I've seen so many different scenarios out there for healing that with no explanation on why. But I know we're building a beautiful team here and we're going to be able to figure all that out. So, but thank you very much, because that's a very beautiful way you put it. And I really appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Claudio.
Hey, that was a great explanation. Thank you so much. While we're asking kind of newbie questions,
that's why we're all here, brother. We're all holding hands.
Right. So what's with the signs and, Taurus, earth sign was, just being earth, fire, all of those. It seems to me that is that maybe something that like we were just given and everyone just accepts it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it came from
why?
Yeah.
Who said?
Yeah, it came from Claudius told me. So
why is everyone accepted? I guess is my
why is everybody accept it? That is a really, really good question. And that's why I started off by saying I haven't done a whole lot with Cardinal fixed. So if you want to remember the rotation of, just remember CFM, like cubic feet per minute, CFM, Cardinal fixed mutable. And if you want to think about the elements, think FEAW, fire, earth, air, water. FEAW, fire, earth, air, water. So now when we get towards the healing aspects of using a zodiac, that's where they all kick back in. I trust in what Claudius Ptolemy did, because the Ptolemy family is the one that did the Denderah Zodiac. The Taurus, the bull, it roams the earth. So do all the animals. Why is Taurus an earth? Martin explained a little bit about that.
The water bearer an air sign?
The water bearer is an air sign. An air sign to me is more etheric. To me, Neptune there's classical house rulers and then there's other house rulers. And to me, Neptune is from the sea. Go ahead, Martin.
I mean, just to go just a slight bit deeper into the medical side of astrology and how we get to maybe the water bearer with Aquarius being the air sign. There can be some confusion there, but there are only 12 systems of the body, and each one of those 12 systems are also governed by each one of the 12 signs as well. So Aries rules the nervous system, or what is known as the cerebrospinal fluid system. Taurus, the endocrine. Gemini, the respiratory. Cancer, the upper digestive system. Leo, the circulatory system. Virgo is the lower digestive system. The Libra is it's like the acidic system, what regulates the acid. I forgot what that one's called. Anyway, keep going. Like Scorpio after Libra, that's the reproductive system. Sagittarius, the muscular system. Capricorn is the skeletal system. Aquarius is the this is where it regulates the waters in the body. The waters in the body. So Aquarius kind of regulates. It's more about the meridian system in the body, which is what you said, Claudio, the etheric. It's the meridian, the electrical connection to our body, and that regulates our waters within the body. And then Pisces is like the integumentary system, which is like all about the skin, I think. So they have a real strong connection, and they actually govern because they make up our body. These signs are more than just constellations. As I said last week, they're more about electromagnetic conditions on the ecliptic, and the ecliptic is as above, being the ecliptic that the sun traverses every year, but on the lower level, as above, so below, it's the ecliptic of the atoms. So we are an anatomy, and we're made of atoms, but and our anatomy is an anatomy. It's like a building block of atoms as well. So as above, so below, it's like a fractal universe, and astrology enables us to read or understand the language of or the science of electromagnetism through the language of astrology. So it's very rich, it's very real, and it's more than, like Claudio said, looking at an app and looking at the sky. When we're born, an electromagnetic signature frequency is imprinted upon us as soon as we take that first breath, and that planetary or celestial configuration at that point has an ongoing kind of the cycles of the celestial bodies every day from that moment is speaking to that original electromagnetic signature frequency that we're born with. So in terms of medical astrology and the four humours, being hot, cold, dry and moist, which is also what astrology is all about as well, because earth is dry, fire is hot, cold is water, and moist is air. So if we apply the humours in our body, like whenever we get ill, our body is either too hot, it's too cold, or it's too dry, or it's too moist. And when we're born, we have an electromagnetic signature frequency imprinted upon us, where we may have too much water, or too much fire, or too much moist, or not enough air, or not enough this or not enough that. And that is challenged even further in the cycles of the heavenly bodies, where, say for instance, if Mars comes along, which is hot and dry, then our body is getting hotter and drier. And if we're born hot and dry, or over hot and dry, because we have a lot of fire in our constitution, then that can cause issues with our body for as long as Mars is kind of traversing or transiting that particular part in our chart or in the sky at the time, in reference to where it was or where it is on our natal chart, if that makes sense. So they all
100%.
cancel each other out. So a hot and dry planet, like say the sun, for instance, and then a cold and moist planet, say for instance Venus, when they come together, there's like a neutrality happening, and therefore it cancels each other. Their humors cancel each other out, so you may not feel. I mean, I'm under the impression that the angels and the angels are the angles, you know. So where the Bible is teaching us about, you know, good angels and bad angels, it's about the angles that
That's right.
are that come to us based upon based upon the cycles of the heavenly bodies on a daily and a yearly basis, but in reference to our electromagnetic signature frequency imprinted at birth, because the time in which we was born, along with where on the earth we was born, and how that all kind of weighs together, you know, in the cycles of the heavenly bodies. You know, it's really amazing.
You're absolutely right. It 100% is. And why I brought up Nicholas Culpepper here, and I'll share it on the Facebook group. He has got all the writings, everything that Martin is talking about. This guy here has done that with all the plants. He's written. A lot of it's written in Old English, but it's pretty legible. You can read it. But some of the words you'll have to look up. And he speaks a lot about that, and it's like Martin's saying, he's 100% right. This is something that we're all going to get back into. As far as I've taken it so far, is basically to tell you when it's going to end, telling you when it's going to start, and to ride the wave. The only thing, Martin, that I'm still on the fence with is how to appropriately apply the right vibration to decrease the amplitude. But if somebody is not good, I don't know if you can. I really don't know if you can. Because there's one thing, you know, I'm on the fence because I haven't seen any of that healing done yet. Because I know that when somebody says, who was it? Somebody was telling me that I won't mention any examples, so this way it can't be related to somebody personal. But somebody said to me, I had this disease and I willed it away myself. I did their chart. They didn't have the full-blown dis-ease, and it went away in the chart. So they're thinking, which is a beautiful thing, they're thinking that they healed themselves. That's okay. But at the same time, it was going away anyway. So I'm just telling you that I'm still stuck on the fence there. Until we see something it shouldn't go away for another 3 months, and then somebody helps them make it go away using plants, foods. To me right now, it's all placebo. But I'm not discounting it. It's just because what I'm seeing is just bizarre. Not bizarre, it's beautiful. But I also see Chiron, the wounded healer, come in, meaning to show the magic. Because the Chiron, the wounded healer, from what I'm finding, shows when people show up with a dis-ease that I'm easily to see, and then Chiron is there, means it's supposed to be there so we can show the magic. Chiron, the wounded healer. So I'm with you 100%. And Culpepper teaches a lot of what you're saying. And you're a definite asset. You're a definite asset to the team, brother. So love you being here, and we got lots to experiment with, so to speak. And
thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, this book here, Claudio, I actually have a physical copy of this book that you're showing right now. And another book that I would recommend maybe everybody to read as well is, you've mentioned his name already, but Claudius Ptolemy's Tetrabiblios.
Yeah.
The Tetrabiblios is a real eye-opener as to, you know, although ancient, I definitely feel it is very valid. I feel that today's pseudo-scientific cosmogony is, you know, it's there to kind of knock us off this whole thing. You know, like you're saying with NASA, you know, creating 13th signs and, you know, all of that thing. I think there is real, you know, and just to finish off, you know, before you continue, there's one thing, understanding the science and how the science works. You know, that is a massive feat in itself for anybody, you know, but, you know, stay with it, because you will not begin to learn anything more valuable than astrology for at least what I would claim to be the most important reason to learn astrology is for medical astrology, for our health. And then secondly, applying it is a whole nother kind of kettle of fish, you know, in terms of you know, trial and error, and you know, seeing if we get results with the practices that we are shown through our astrology to try out, you know. But this is a perfect exact science, and you know, I feel that the results will come, you know, the more we understand the science itself. You know, it is only just coming back to the earth, and I'm glad that it is, and soon everybody will be running to their natal charts. So as long as we are here, you know, while the world are playing Xbox or watching the latest Universal Hollywood movie, we're in the right place, you know, to begin, you know.
Exactly. And I hope everybody can feel invigorated, because they're sitting amongst a good team of people, and it's a team thing. It's our work. It's everyone's work. There's no one here that is, everyone is walking hand in hand on an equal playing field. I wanted to just show everybody that the Aquarius, the etheric waters, you can see this is John the Baptist right here. Okay, this beautiful image here. Okay, that's John the Baptist. He's holding the canopic jars. Okay, and he's pouring etheric water among all the prisoners, us, the ones that are sitting here in karma, tied, stuck inside this body, and having all kinds of karmic attachments. So he's pouring the water on all of them to set them free, the forgiveness of sins. So there is so much writing in here that's yet to be deciphered. And I can tell you, I've not met one person that knows how to read these other than Patricia Aoyan. She is the daughter-in-law of the guy I've been showing you, Abdel Hakim Aoyan. She has got the most knowledge that I've met. I did reach out to Abdel Hakim Aoyan's daughter, so we did communicate briefly. I'm hoping that we can somehow get together with any one of those. When we show our passion and that we're on the right direction, I think it'll all happen. Law of attraction will bring everybody together. But there's so much in these writings. These little standouts right here with the feathers on both sides. These are all really important glyphs. This is all huge meanings that we yet to have to uncover. And I've not met anybody that can just read it and tell you what it means. Patricia holds some keys. I know she does. She's done some awesome work that I've followed. So this is your Bible, people. This is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So if you want to play with something, if you want to play Da Vinci Code, if you want to figure out puzzles, work on this one. Trust me, this is the one you should be working on. Well, guys, it's 10 after 8. Shall we? Let's cut it, okay? So it's 10 after. And anybody could always leave whenever they wanted to. There'd be no disrespect.
It's 10 after 1 a.m. in England.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my
Charlotte
gosh.
must be getting
You're in
sleepy.
England. Charlotte.
Well, at least you get to lie down with your head on the
Charlotte.
feathers.
I can't sleep anyway. I didn't go to sleep till 5 o'clock this morning. And when I do fall asleep, I'm only sleeping for like 3 hours and then I'm up.
Yeah.
So,
Charlotte, where in the UK are you based?
Manchester.
Your accent. Yeah, I was going to say Manchester.
Manchester.
I'm Nottingham originally, but I'm based in Halifax right now.
Right, okay. I thought you sounded a bit familiar.
Halifax, Canada?
No.
Halifax, United
Halifax,
Kingdom.
United Kingdom.
I figured.
Yeah.
I figured.
And you did Charlotte as well, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's 2:10 in the night for me also in Holland.
Oh,
Right,
yeah, boy.
You're an
Oh,
hour.
you broke in and out then. We couldn't hear what you were saying.
Lex said it's 10
What?
after 2 for him. 10 after 2 a.m. So he's got you beat.
Wow.
I figure all this stuff would put you guys to sleep, for God's sakes. It's boring.
It's energizing. It's spiritual food for your soul.
Oh, absolutely, it is. Very enlightening. I'm very blessed to have you all here. All right, folks, we'll end it. I was hoping that it would end early, but I'm also invigorated that it just keeps going, and it says it feels like it's only been an hour and a half, and yet it's been almost 2. Wow. All righty. We'll see you all next week, whoever can make it. Love you all. Ask questions anytime.
Thank you much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Much love. Bye.
Thank
so
you,
much, everyone.
Claudio.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
that.
so much, Martin.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.